I'm back.
No, not yet.
Yeah, Arthur, do you want to do yours, and then I will go and rejoin on my laptop in a moment.
Yep, okie dokie. Let me sort my phone out.
Thanks, James.
Well, cheers, thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, James.
I can ask more questions in a minute. Just let me go and pack stuff away before it's unless it rains again. So.
Right, okay. Is my audio and video okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm actually on a cable here as well. So what I'll do, I'll sort of do a wide shot first if I can, and then I'll walk around it a little bit more. So this is actually quite a new space anyway. But although I've been brewing here for about 7 years, last year was able to finally stop brewing in the kitchen, and then actually get out and actually build this dedicated space there as part of a new extension. So I just walk around some of the stuff. So obviously, nice sink, got off eBay. Bit of a common theme with some of the kit in this garage. Obviously, it helps them the nice big bottle pot washing sink. Big old mash tun. Probably a bit too big. This is a 20-gallon one. I wasn't actually in the market for a new mash tun when I got this one last year, but it suddenly came in stock at the malt miller. And it was a toss up between the 10-gallon one or the 20-gallon one. And I think, but the price difference was only something like £100 at the time. So I thought, sorry, I'll just get the bigger one, and then just have that extra space. Although, because I'm only doing like single keg size batches at the moment, I'm only using probably about a third of the size of the mash tun. I mean, it's just insanely large in there. As I say, 20 gallons in a huge old thing. So yeah, I do have issues, obviously, trying to get my strike temperature right. I'm still playing around and trying to dial in, obviously, doving in and stuff like that at the moment. HLT, again, this is fairly new this year as well. I've been gradually upgrading most of my kit over the past year anyway, because finally moving on from the typicals like the plastic buckets that you generally start off with, and then just moving on to also basically this more premium end kit. So I've got this DigiBoil. Works really well. Although it's 3,500 watts, I can't use it at full whack. I'll probably blow my 13 amp circuit. So I need to get Sparky in to actually basically wire in the 15 amp circuit for me at some point, but just haven't got around to doing it. The other thing I really like the idea of with this is to move to a Herms type setup as well, so I can just muck around more with like the mash temperatures. That's probably going to be a project for next year anyway. So stuff down here, got 2 pumps. And just loaded random stuff in there. And then this is just a 10-gallon kettle. I've had this for quite some time now. Works really well. I have a propane set up here, and so yeah, it was really good. Although I do actually have a bigger kettle set up there. It's that was a 20-gallon one. Annoyingly, I've not used it yet because it's just a bit too big. It doesn't sit under my extractor fan, although you see my extractor fan is not even wired up anyway, but that's not the point. It doesn't even fit under the extractor fan. So it's just quite frustrating. And also as well, my cooler, my immersion chiller thing is just far too small for a 20-gallon kettle. So so hence why it's obviously a lot of shiny stainless steel sat on top of the shelves at the moment. Then round to the fermenters. So I pretty much do everything at the moment in this 7-gallon Chronicle. Again, I've used this for a long time. It's been really reliable. I get fairly decent results from it. Although I have slightly modified it to have a ball lock valve in there, just so I can get some CO2 into the headspace a lot more easily. So that was actually cold crashing my next iteration of an English IPA. So that was in there. So it's a company one that was 12.6 at the moment. So that's not doing too bad. I've got another fermenter next to it, although that was another eBay impulse buy. Sort of wish I didn't buy it, but I've never used the thing. It just sits there at the moment. It's just taking up awful lot of space, and like I say, I don't really I'm not brewing that big batches yet. So, but yeah, anyway, one day I'm sure I'll use it. Cooling, I've got a Maxi 310 eBay, another eBay buy. I have actually converted this slightly. So the recirculation pump is actually on its own plug, so then I'll keep the compressor on all the time. Because I think I have blew my fermentation fridge from a few years ago, because it's just going on and off via the ink bears. So I've got a hold of this, and I thought, right, the first thing I'm doing, I'm obviously making sure the compressor isn't going to get blown up within a few weeks of using it. And so this is generally, well, it's a workbench, that's where I generally do my stuff. And obviously just basic fridge here. I've not done anything to the fridge. That's a project for next year, is to actually get some taps on there, and obviously then sort out some regulators and get a decent setup. Like what James was just showing a moment ago. Far too many hops. I do have a hop addiction. I just cannot go online and buy something that isn't hops. I generally always buy a packet of hops or two, and unfortunately I have far too many hops. Yeah, that's about it really. Yeah. Any questions?
You can't have too many hops.
No, never have too many hops.
So, did I see a water filtration?
Oh, yes, good point. Actually, forgot about that. Yes, hiding sort of way behind here. Yes, a very simple three-stage RO system, which I've used a fair bit this year. Although the heat is over there, but I'm actually going to try out spotless on my next brew. So I do have 50 litres of spotless water sat over there in jerry cans. Just basically give it a go. But it's £2. I think it's £2.18. I'll say for 50 or 52 litres actually. So yeah, it seems fairly reasonable. And then I'll probably just use that RO assist now for just making up my star sand and stuff. It's good, but it's just very, very slow. I think it produces about 4 litres an hour, 5 litres an hour, so it's not particularly quick.
I think that's quicker than mine.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, I think I've got the same one, but must have lower water pressure or something where it's coming out. So it's
yeah, water pressure makes a difference. But you can buy a pump. When I do my presentation, you'll see I've bought the pump, and that increases it from, for me, it was 2.5 litres with the 4-stage Fire RO machine, and with the pump I'm getting 12 to 14 litres an hour. So from 2.5 to 14, it's a good investment.
Yeah, definitely, that's a big difference. Yeah, I might look at that. Cool.
And the dispense, Arthur, you've got a Keezer in the making.
Sort of, yeah. Like I say, yeah, it's a fridge.
So what have you got at the moment? Oh, kegerator in the making. Okay, so what have you got in there at the moment? Is it do you dispense from the corny keg in the fridge?
I've got party tap at the moment. So like I say, it's nothing grand. Like I say, that's like my next major thing, is to then get some taps on the front. I'll probably do 3 taps on the front, maybe 4. And then but yes, that's one for next year. So I spent far too much this year. So
on stainless steel.
Exactly. Things like that up there that never get used. So
the hop charge system you've got on the brew tech on the was that that was one company made or put together?
No, in fact that actually, so this so the bottom butterfly valve and that all came with this fermenter. So I don't know where the guy got it, but I imagine it's probably an AliExpress jobby. Judging by some of the quality of the other bits and bobs on here, like the sanitary sample valve, it's pretty poor quality. So I think he did buy a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, this strainer, this hop strainer was part of it as well. So I think that's, again, so it's not particularly very, very good quality. So that's why I was a bit disappointed in the eBay purchase, but I suppose that's what you get when you buy off eBay, isn't it? So lesson learned. But it works quite well. And so you can probably just see some hop residue in there at the moment. So and there's a tiny little hole there, so for like the gas and CO2 to come out. So So I just generally load it up. Obviously, we're squirting in a tiny amount of CO2, and then just drop it all in.
That seems to hold quite a lot of hops. That one.
Yeah, I could probably get. Well, I just did about 140 gram dry hop a few days ago, and it was probably just round about there. I think it was. So I think it was about that. So I'll probably get a good couple of hundred in there, I imagine. It's not too bad. The only thing I don't like with these chronicles is that the heating coils. So the heating coil sort of comes across here inside. So when you dry hop, all the hops just go and sit inside the heating coil, the cooling coil.
Yeah.
They all sit inside the cooling coil, and sometimes you get lucky and they do drop down and disperse. Sometimes I open it all up and I see all the dry hops, literally then just sat at the top of the cooling coil. So it's a bit of a design flaw, I think, with these things.
Yeah, it'd be all right. It'd be all right if you cooled without if you were putting it in a fridge, say, without the cooling coil system that you've got. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. The cooling coils do take up that central space.
Yeah, exactly.
You've actually got a trade-off, because if you use the flat lid on my SS fermenter, I've got the one with a flat lid as well as the domed, and my cooling coil is attached to the flat lid.
Yeah.
But then of course you can't put any pressure on it. So if you want pressure, you've got to use your dome lid, and you've got to use the side cooling coil. But or if you don't want pressure, use the top one.
So, yeah, I mean, these things only, this one of mine can only take probably 1, maybe 2 psi at the most before it's popping out. So yeah, I only use a bare minimum of pressure just like for transfers, and obviously for the dry hopping. Okay.
Sorry, can I just see the actual brewing vessels? I joined late, so you got to.
So an oversized mash tub. I mean, I'll say it's far too big for my batches at the moment, but I'll say I do love high ABV beers. So triples, double IPAs, triple IPAs, stouts. And one day when I do get around to brewing those, I'll probably be grateful to have the extra space for. Obviously,
how big is it?
20 gallon. This one, about 75 litres, is it? Something like that. So what did you say? 80 litres to the brim. So yeah, it's a big old beast. But like I said at the start, the difference between the 10 gallon and the 20 gallon for malt mill, I think last year it was like it's about 110, 120 pounds or something in the half. And when you're paying hundreds of pounds for one of these anyway, it's like, well, I thought sort of just pay the extra 100 quid and have one that's going to last me a lifetime.
Until you want to make like a single a batch of like a nice sort of mild or something like that.
In common.
That's
you just have a sort of bunch of grain sort of floating around at the bottom.
that is the issue with that at the moment. I mean, for the ones I'm doing, like the IPAs, 6% IPAs and stuff, it's barely a quarter, a third full, so which is why I'm sort of struggling getting the right temperatures right in it at the moment.
Do you how do you sparge? Do you sparge?
Yeah. I've got 2 pumps. So fly sparge. So I've got all the setup for it there. I mean, got like the fly sparge hoop at the back there. So yeah, I'm actually in the process of this week, just upgrading all my Camlocks to quick disconnects. A bit of an issue about 3 or 4 months ago, where I had a Camlock Fail, and typically, sod's law, it was the one that failed was the whirlpool in, and while the pump was running at full thrack, with the valves completely open. So you can imagine the mess it made.
How did it fail?
I think it was actually this one here. So this was one of them that actually failed. It didn't actually have any. So some of them actually have a locking pin. So I think some of the other ones have like a locking pin.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the ones I've got, have the locking pins on.
Yeah, so these ones actually came from the malt miller this year, and I didn't really think much of it. So obviously stuck it on, used it. Thought it was a little bit loose, but didn't think anything of it. And actually, I'm just standing there watching the whirlpool, then all of a sudden, quick, turn my pumps off, and obviously within about five seconds, I'd obviously ejected tons of water over the floor, which took went everywhere. So all up the walls, all around the fridge, all under the shelves and everything. Took me days to fully clean up. So yes, hence investing now a full set of quick disconnects now.
The cam locks are okay, but always make sure you've got the locking pins. I don't think you can use a cam lock without locking pins reliably. Not
if you're circulating hot wort or something like that. Then
yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm quite surprised at the malt miller. You know, what I mean, the quality, supposedly of their products. You know, what I mean, just very disappointing. But yeah, anyway, they're going to go in the bin. I'll probably put the rest on eBay, and then I'll just forget about it. Lesson learned. I'm just glad I didn't nip out the room for a moment and then just would have come back to an empty kettle.
You could also have scolded yourself.
Oh yeah, that's of course, exactly. But yeah, because I think it was actually still. Where was it? I think it was actually about 80 degrees at that point. So, anyway,
just to sort of play devil's advocate, isn't there a danger of that still with the quick disconnects as well? Because there's nothing, they don't kind of lock as such. If the springs in them get stuck or something.
Is that the ball locks?
Yes. Oh, let's have a look. So these ones here, where is it? So it's like the ball locks, isn't it? So I mean, it's a pretty strong seal, isn't it? So
I've never had a problem with those. That's what I use, and I've never had a problem with any of those.
I mean, they do feel pretty solid. So
now, once that outer sleeve has come back over the balls, they're not moving back.
Yeah, not going anywhere. Exactly. The spring is really strong as well. It's quite a firm spring.
At least in sort of keg ball locks, I have had a couple of issues with stuff sealing, albeit one of them was because the thing I had only had two of the three balls in it, so that didn't help. And the other one, I don't know, it was just mix and match. It was kind of plastic and steel together, and just didn't seem to want to lock on. But yeah,
there's something missing in that story. Why do you only have two balls?
I don't know. Well, it's just the way I got it, and I didn't realize. I used it for a while, and it was fine. And then when I tried to attach it to a plastic carbonation cap, which wouldn't lock on. When I looked at it, it was like, oh, there's only two of the balls on it. So
yeah, well, with three balls, you're all right. You're safe with three balls.
Stop that.
Don't take it any further. Leave it at that.
Okay. Has anybody got any more questions for Arthur, or should we move on?
Do you bottle, Arthur, or do you just drink it straight out the party tap, so to speak?
Keg now. Don't talk about bottle is a yeah. Don't talk about bottle as it's for competitions.
Yeah.
So sorry. How do you chill? What do you use to chill the beer down? Did I miss that?
Well, in a fermenter.
From when you into the fermenter.
In the kettle, I've just got an immersion chiller, so I've got really small immersion chiller, as you can see, not very big at all.
Right.
Which is why I can't. Well, that's one of the reasons why I can't use that big kettle, because that thing just not man enough in any way, shape or form. So so I would like to get a counterflow chiller at some point, but again, that's probably one for next year.
Right.
Cool.
All right.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you, Arthur.
All good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice.